It's live now. Hello, everyone. Hello, Daryl, Earl, Enzo.
Hey, what's going on, guys? And so I think you can. And so, can you hear me?
I think,
Yes.
yeah, Enzo's muted.
Yeah,
Okay. Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to another Drupal Console and Beer, episode 2, I guess.
Yeah, it's
And
still,
so,
we're still not sure about the name of the podcast.
I
So,
don't.
so the name will came after the show ends. So make sure
Okay.
you're not the one who named the episode.
Okay. So what's going on? First, I think we should start talking about where we've been and where we're gonna go be next. So I think last week
Yeah,
you was
well,
in. Last week I think you was in Guadalajara, right?
yeah, I went to Drupal Camp Guadalajara, Drupal Camp Mexico in Guadalajara. It was interesting. There's a lot of community from Mexico. This is a good chance to see the community down there, and also
Okay.
have a chance to meet people from different places. And there are a few. I mean, that was good. I mean, we kind of do a little, spend some hours sprinting after the Drupal console session. And I mean, the first day I did a training, the Drupal 8 module development training. And that was cool. I mean, there's people have been involved in here, and it's pretty nice how every single time that since I mean keep doing training since probably 2 years back, now people is more involved in the aid and they're aware of what's happening. They are currently working with the projects, which is I mean, first training more interesting because they're no longer people is no longer afraid. It's more like interested to get improving into that. That was the first day. Then the second day, I have a chance to talk about Drupal console, showing the latest features of the project, and finally, I have a chance to do another talk. That time I was talking about Electron, and I was talking how to build a desktop application using JavaScript and HTML and CSS. And I finally closing the session showing the prototype we're working for the Electron app for Drupal console, which I mean was pretty interesting. And people is, I mean, it was aware about about the Electron project, but they're not still not working with it. And it's just pretty interesting how you can access local files and all that. And it's I mean I'm enjoying Electron.
Sounds
How
good.
about
Sounds good.
you?
Not much.
What
I
you
work
doing
a little
so?
bit. I think I work a little bit and a few issues. Some of it are still in work in progress for Drupal console. Some enhancement. Um, and I think we released. I think yesterday. I think you make the release, right? The 11.3.
Yeah. Let's let's talk about where are we going first.
Oh, yeah. I think where are we going next? I think Enzo is gonna be. I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry.
Out of
Yeah, I
what?
can. I can. I'm pro.
What are you asking? What about this last week?
Where you
Yeah.
was last week and where you going next?
Okay, so last week I didn't participate in any official event, so I just have time to mingle with people in China, specifically in Beijing city, and usually this week I move on to Chongqing. It's a non-known city. It's a huge city. It's almost 31, 32 million inhabitants.
What?
So it's it's like I guess it's in the top five of big cities in the world. But nobody knows where it is located.
And
uh,
you know what? The name is pretty much impossible to pronounce. That's why.
Chongqing. No, it's not about that. Actually, it's quite easy. So yeah, I just have been talking with people here, and they are really excited because this Saturday, so that's been tomorrow, they will be have their first Drupal Camp Chongqing.
That's
So
pretty cool.
this,
That's very cool.
yep.
Sounds
So
good.
that's
And
it. So
You're gonna be talking about Drupal console?
Of course. Yeah, but
Okay,
outside that, I have a keynote. I will be the keynote, and I am going to talk about, in simple words, is how invest in community is a good business.
okay.
And this is the keynote, and in the afternoon, I will have a session in console, but will be in English, in Chinese, because the translator maintainer for Chinese, he lives in Chongqing. Actually, he is the organizer of Drupal Camp. So
Okay.
we will have the session one slide in English and one slide in Chinese. So that means some people will understand only 50% of this of the session.
Okay.
How about you? How much? What's the percent of the session you will get into? Are you learning Chinese?
I am start to learning, but it's just the simple. I just, where is the bathroom? I need water. Good morning, good afternoon, good something like that. What else?
I
And
think I think I think that's enough to start translating the console.
No, not really. It's because with Chinese you need to learn four languages. You need to learn how to write in Chinese, how to write in Pinyin, which is like a Latin version of Chinese. How listening and writing, it's complicated, but
Okay.
it's possible. At least people, when I request for salt, they give me salt, not sugar.
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember a long time ago. I used to work for a company in the LA, in the Orange County area, and one of the workers was from China, and he always used to tell me like,
Yeah.
in order to you to speak, Chinese and to like take your tongue off, and I was like, no, no, that's fine.
Yeah, but I have a long time goal. I want to learn Chinese in 6 years. So it's just it's a long way. But here, one interesting thing about the Drupal console and community is like here is the first place I really feel the importance of having the Drupal console in other languages. Because in India, this is the other language who is quite well translated to Hindi. But technology people, they usually read English. But here in China, this is only 3% of population they speak English. So for them, seeing the console and understanding the console in Chinese is really, really, really valuable. It's like when you do the demo in Chinese, now they say, "Oh, now I understand."
That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that was that important. I thought it was nice
Oh,
to
it's
have
really
feature.
it's really important. So you can see in their faces. So I did a session. Even the screenshots are in Chinese, in some characters. But then I say, okay, let's do a real demo. And then when I do the demo, obviously it's speaking in Chinese, but they see the step by step questions or passing the parameters in Chinese, and they see the results. For them, it's like a they see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's the whole thing is like translatable, so all the interaction and questions are yeah. And I totally forgot to do that on Spanish during Guadalajara. So shame on me for not doing the thing in Spanish. I promise next time that I'll do
Mhm.
a demo,
Yeah,
and if we have the translation in place, I
and,
will
and,
select that. I'll
and it's good to be in their shoes because China, well, it's a special country, so they have some network restrictions, and it's a totally different country. So imagine your life without access, not access to Facebook, to Twitter, to Google, and all search engines available are in Chinese, and you don't speak Chinese. So the only English information you have is Bing, which is quite. I don't know which is better, if having Bing or doesn't have Bing. But at
yeah.
least
Well,
it's alive. So how they live um, the life in this internet life is another world. And actually, they are quite advanced in technology than us, but we don't perceive that. So they have different really interesting solutions for their problems.
Okay.
That's
Sounds
So
good.
yeah.
So we're gonna start talking about the last release, which was done 20 hours ago, right?
Yeah, the last one, probably, I mean, and hopefully the very, 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 very last one, prior to 1.0 alpha one. And I know I've been keep saying this for a while. It seems like this time is a time, and
It's
this
the
is the
time.
last, and this is the, and this, this is the last one. Well, yeah, what's included in the release other than minor things like fixing little things about you know what I found when doing the demo? Well, not a demo. While in Guadalajara, I saw this tweet, this standard distribution.
Oh yeah, yeah. I heard
Yeah,
about that issue.
and I just get it in my local, and I was running the installer, the Drupal console installer, and I find out I mean, the Thunder profile was not like listed, so I ended up fixing that. It's just, I mean, there was little, I mean, things. So the discovery part for the profiler was not working properly. Other than little, I mean, things here and there about that, the Finder thing, and I also found an issue about storing things on the configuration system in missing user statements because we probably was not like insane with latest changes on entity generation. Little things here and there, but then we improve. I mean, actually, we have a chance to improve some of the installing instructions on the README. I also had a chance based on feedback from Isaac Garcia from Puebla. He was doing a heavy use of Drupal console, and he told me about, I mean, a way of, I mean, discovering chain files on modules and teams and other places. And that pull request was probably on my computer and was not probably sent. So now I added that so we can discover, I mean, chain files within the home user directory, the root of the site, and within any extension like modules, profiles, and teams. But yeah, so that's the little things here and there that I end up like fixing.
So
And what?
is that only for
Yes.
chain commands, or that's also for commands?
Well, at this point, it's only for chain files, and for commands, we have discovery in place for modules and teams, and
Okay.
yeah, I think that, yeah, also for no, we should fix that thing for discovering commands within profiles, but that won't be an issue because profiles has this, I mean, are basically a module, so that won't be that complicated. But I mean, we have two really nice new features. I will show it right now. So I'm
One of
sharing.
them is the debug, right? Yeah, I can see it. One of them is the debug, right? That's the one you're gonna show. Plugin debug.
Yeah, let me show my screen,
Yeah, you've shown it
and
already.
yeah. So and
I,
yes.
I think it was pretty cool, like how this command ended up in the console. The garage just write everything as a separate module. It's like, hey, this just worked. You want to use it?
Yeah, I mean that was cool. There's one. I mean, guy getting into the issue queue and asking for, I have this in place. This is a way of discovering plugins on the system. I mean, can we add? I mean, he was pretty very much turn to ask if we can add it. And once we tried, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, a way of discovering plugins and use listing and, I mean, seeing detailed information about it. It's like, wow. I mean, I really want to have this thing. And the guy was like, 30 minutes later, we have a pull request with the whole thing in place, translation, and I was like, whoa, that's pretty awesome. And I mean, unfortunately, it only discovered those plugins that are registered as services. But we can improve this later on. I mean, it's totally fine with me having something like this. That thing's pretty cool. So I'll show what's this thing. It's called. I'm looking at a site. I'm gonna try Drupal and plugin debug, and this will list all of the plugins on the system. But I mean, I want to make sure this is clear. All of the plugins that are registered as services. So any plugin on the system that it's not registered as a service, it won't be listed here. So, and we are planning to improve this. So far, this looks good. Plugin debug is showing me all of the listing, the service name or the service definition, and then the class that is registered as a plugin. And that's pretty cool, but it's getting better. We can do something like, image effect. I can pass the name. So let me go back here. So I can see image effect is one of the names here. So it's right here. If I use this as an argument, now I can see all of the plugin ID in class again. And if I try again, the plugin ID, this would show me the definition, the class that is, is tied to the ID that I'm using, the description, the ID of this one, label. So it's pretty cool. So it's basically we can debug the system and see the different plugins, again, register as services. And I think it's a great starting point for this. We'll try to improve, and instead of only looking for those plugins as registered as services, kind of get into the system and make sure we can do that. And yeah, again, we can do this like Peko Magic, like this, and then do something like pipe, then Peko, and then getting the values and passing it. The same thing we have with routings, we can do that. So I'll make sure we can share that. For as a reference, we can do like when clicking here, this value gets passed as argument to the command again, and you can also pass all those values to Peko. You can keep going to do this. The other new features that you will find out on this release, which is 0.11.3, is this site local import command. So far, I will run a Drupal site debug. Remember what this command is? The site debug command, it tells me all of the sites that I have registered on the system. So this is basically, this is what we know as maybe as site aliases. And this site debug lists me all of the sites, different sites registered in the system. But adding a new site, it involves to create a new file within your home directory, because the sites at this point are discoverable from here, from your home directory .console.site. So everything from here is registered as YAML file within this directory. But this new command, Drupal site import local, what this command will do, it will recognize the current working directory and try to use this as a to register a new site. So in this case, is recommend me to use the current working directory, which is totally fine because I want to import this site. I will say yes, and in here I can use, add or enter a site name. So I will call this D8 because this is a Drupal 8 site. And in the end, told me when everything was imported properly, and you might want to run site debug. So if I run site debug again, we will see there is a new D8 local site. And if we want to try and see the definition of that site here, we will see what it's stored and what's running, what was created during the importing this. It's basically telling me the root path where this site is pointing to, and is a local site. And right here, let me go ahead. So let me move. Let's see if I run Drupal.
Could you show where this file was created?
Sure. It's, remember, I was like there. Again, it's here. Now the file is here. It's just right here.
So you don't delete anything. So you just create another setup of configuration.
Yeah, in order to add a new site, you need to create a new YAML file. And within this file, as we can see here, let me count this. The definition here is
No, it's D8. Uh-huh.
yeah. You see, this is what this contains. Let me do something real quick so we can figure out. This is this one, and we have a previous one. I mean, difference with this, so when we run the import command, it only creates the local. We can probably improve this one and add interactive questions, something like, do you want to add a remote site, and asking you for the address, for the IP address and the path where the Drupal console
Yeah,
will
so
be.
this is a starting point to start to build on that more features. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool because once you have that one, you can do something like Drupal, and then add D8 local, and you can run different commands. So I'm running a site command. I'm running any command against this site. Let's catch. I'm rebuilding the catch. So I don't need to like be in the site. I can use the alias doing that, and I can do. Let's do like something like database dump stuff. So basically, I'm kind of running a database dump I'm exporting. I'm just dumping the database into this file. And I can take advantage of those site aliases or site definitions to interact with different sites on the system without need to be on that specific directory. And if you add to this to this definition, a remote configuration, you can interact with the site, with a remote site, which is like, I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, actually, the pull request was selling something. Working with sites is great, but it was kind of hard to start. So the pull request helped you to do that, basically creating that for you.
Yeah, so maybe this is important to mention that this is how we work in Drupal console. So we create the commands we need because at difference of other projects, so we are site builders as developers as site. So we are not thinking not only in big and enterprise size. So we are thinking in the websites we build every day. So sometimes it's for small companies, and sometimes it's for medium companies, and sometimes it's for intermediate companies. So we try to create the solutions that works for us because we are still developers, and also these commands came also from the community. So some people has good ideas to try to introduce, and we evaluate, and that's something like in the future could grow out in a really useful tool for everybody, right?
Yeah, and at some point we didn't have the need for creating those. We know how to do that, so we end up like there's a documentation to telling you how to do that. But I think something feature like this is pretty cool to people jumping into the project, and I want to create a new site. I don't know how to do that. I am not sure where to create this new YAML file in which directory, and how the key values that should contain.
Uh-huh.
Something like this is pretty cool.
Yep.
I think probably we should create the file as it is, and then add the rest of the keys for development and production. Just comment it, all the empty keys, so you can enter values later on. I think something like that should be a way to improve. So maybe we can create an issue, like a novice issue for doing this, and we can improve that.
Cool.
Actually, we had a few novice issues fixing this release too. A few new people just jump in, and we need to document a little bit more detail how to contribute to Drupal console. I think I'm gonna be working on that maybe this weekend. I've been saying that forever, but I was very surprised. I think because you was in Mexico and talked to people, I see a lot of people in the issue queue and Gitter this past weekend, and this week I saw a few people also new faces that don't contribute to a project very often, which is pretty cool. So
Yeah, it's always good. Having new blood in the project, and there's kind of what happens when That's the great part about going to camps and talk about the projects. Like people get interested and involved, and constantly there's more people jumping into the project and adding new features or asking for things, or there's several ways to contribute. I mean, just testing the tool and reporting issues is just great help.
That sounds good. So, any known issues, Jesus?
Yeah, well, the same one we've been dealing with for a while because of the new Drupal release, upcoming Drupal release in the 8.1 thing. We talked about this the first episode, the pilot episode. I'm just gonna touch this again because this will be important starting next week because this 8.1.0 will be released, Drupal 8.10. So this is, once 8.1 is released, 8.0 will be like deprecated, but we know there will be people still, working with 8.0 for a while. And what happens is 8.1 introduces a different version of, of the components of Symfony components, and this bring some errors and some warnings on the tool.
So this Drupal 8.1 will be deprecate 8.0.
Yes, it will, but I mean, I'm pretty sure there are people who are still working with 8.0 for a while. I mean, there's still like Drupal 7 and 6, and I'm pretty sure there are some Drupal 5 sites. I mean,
So this is the real Drupal 8 release?
pardon?
This is the real Drupal 8 release?
I didn't say that, but yes. Sounds like this is gonna feels like more.
It's just a number.
Yeah, it feels more like complete. It's more like feature wise. Have this big pipe in place. Have this refreshless non-turbo links on it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things. This is pretty much this is the real 8 point, the real Drupal 8. I mean, I think the same happened with 7. But well, this new version of Drupal, I mean, it has conflicts with the current version of Drupal Console. And once 8.1 gets released,
For Enterprise.
pardon me?
Drupal 8 for Enterprise.
Yeah.
For Enterprise.
Well, we will have a new release of Drupal Console, and you won't have any issue with the release of Drupal Console. And I mean, and if everything goes, I mean, as expected, once 8.1.0, which is the stable version of Drupal, gets released, we will be releasing a Drupal Console 1.0.0 Alpha 1, and that will be fully compatible with 8.1. And at that point, I mean, probably if you want to keep using Drupal Console with 8.0, you will need to keep with 0.11.3, which is the latest one. And we can probably, I mean, I am not sure we can support for how long we'll support 8.0. We were planning to no longer support that, but some people is asking for supporting that, and then we'll jump into this, I mean, into some research, and we find out the project that looks like can help us in doing that. It's called Embedded Composer. So we need to figure out. I mean, we need to try. We need to see if that helps. I mean, as expected, or as it seems that can help.
So that will help you handle different versions?
Yeah, basically it allows you to have this different composer files, so you can like build like on the fly. You want to run this, kind of pretty. It's kind of strange. Looks kind of weird. I mean, I didn't totally fully understand how this works. So, I mean, I just read the README file. I didn't have a real chance to spend time trying it, and that's why I mean, it's not like I don't really get the whole picture. So I need to try it first, to see if this will help. If it's not, we will probably, recommend people to keep using. I mean, if you are in 8.0, keep using, the non-major version, which is like 0.11 something, instead of jumping into the 1.0 alpha. But I mean, if you look at the Drupal, DO site, Drupal.org, it claims that moving to 1.8.1 won't be like a nightmare. There's like an update pad, and hopefully that work as is, I mean as is, I mean as is like expected.
So, what is the upcoming features? We got generate dog cheat cheat.
Yeah, it's what in is when it's I don't know how to say in Mexico, but in Spain they say chuleta. And
Chuleta.
and I yeah, and I say Spain because the developer sending the pull request is a guy from Spain. So basically, this command, I mean, looks pretty cool. It's a generator because we all love generators. We have generators to generate or generators. So this command, it generates a page, like two side pages with all of the Drupal console commands and the definition. So you can have this chit telling you, the available commands on the system. And the problem is we have a lot of commands. When I say a lot, I say a lot. So we have more than 130 now, and it's really, really complicated. We will see how this works. I mean, we'll try to make this, keep this command, available. We can probably do something like, now this is preset. This is one side, it's all the generators. The other side of the page, it's the rest of the other commands. But probably we can at some point, figure out how to do this any better than this. But this is kind of way of generating a PDF file for you, so you can print and have it in your hands to as a piece of documentation to the project. And there is the.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. I think the next one that probably I'm going to be working on is the theme template finder. So if you're ever creating a Drupal 8 theme, most likely you're going to be hunting down themes, theme template, and you're going to be overriding those theme templates all the time. You can discover using theme debug, but you still need to find that either most likely in your base theme, copy it and put it in your subtheme. So this command, what it's going to do is actually copy and paste that template for you. So the whole idea how I'm thinking I'm going to build it is it's going to check which theme you're going to implement a new template. It's going to find that template in your subtheme if it's available. And at the same time, when you type it, it's going to give you a discovery, which is pretty neat. And it's going to copy and paste it in the proper place in your subtheme. So I think it would be very helpful for themers that are trying to create a new template. And yeah.
So this command
this
will allow you. This command will allow you to select one of the templates and copy it in your subtheme.
Yes. Which it can be very helpful, especially if in the future, if you can do this with chain, you can actually scaffold something that has few template based on your base theme. So
I have the feeling you are abusing the chain feature at this point, Daryl.
Of course.
Yeah, and everyone is abusing the chain feature, and that's what the next new thing is about. I remember when doing the session in San Diego in February, and then early March on Drupal Camp Florida. When talking about the chain feature, chain feature is this feature that you can have this YAML file, and within this file you can define several commands to run, like in a queue, as different tasks. So you can, I want to run this command with this specific arguments or options, and you can have those within a YAML definition, and then you can call chain and do something like -- file and specify a path to a file name. That's the feature. Then someone, okay, yeah, they want to start. Okay, then suddenly people ask about having a way to discovering chains, and now I will be talking about a new feature. But I think Daryl has something to say about the layouts, and then I can jump into this new feature of chain things.
Oh well, I was interrupting. You can complete talking about your chain. information.
Just go ahead, finish the thing, and I can go back
Okay.
to the chain thing.
Okay. Another thing, I have one of my side project. It's called Bootstrap Layouts, and I've been asking a lot of people been asking me to generate more templates for them, and I think I'm gonna create a new command in that module, so you can actually it's a generator of layouts. And if somebody create one, but actually he didn't put it in the correct place, he created a generator to create layout for layout plugins. Yeah, layout plugin name. Yes, layout plugin. I think is the name of the project. Um, and yeah, I'm probably gonna create a generator that allows you to create templates for Bootstrap, so you can actually use it for the layout plugin module, which is not necessarily going to be in Drupal Console core, but it's going to extend Drupal Console for sure.
But you can have commands within teams, so you can put them in team as well.
Oh yeah.
Remember, we have that feature. Well, finishing the thing about the chain. So every single time that I talk about the chain feature, people ask about can we please have placeholders? Because I mean, when you define or we define a chain file, because we have one, it's called Quick Start, right? For downloading Drupal, installing Drupal, and then starting the PHP building server. So now I will go ahead and share my screen. And I will share this. Am I sharing my screen? Yes, right? So this feature was added 23 days ago by Darrell. I think this was probably during San Diego. Well, the whole idea of this was to, allow commands to have placeholders, those chain commands to have placeholders. And we were playing with the idea of improving the chain command. We had this auto discovery thing, so you can run Drupal chain and it will discover any chain file either in your local home directory, in your local user directory, or the root of the site, or within a module, or within a team. But I mean, that's very cool. So we probably won't be, automatically registering chain files as commands. But I mean, probably the feature that it's more requested, other than having those registered as commands, is to allowing those definition of chains to accept placeholders. So I end up to having a few hours today, earlier today, and play with this. And I came with this idea, and I have some working code. So it's a matter of defining the placeholders we want to use, and probably something like this. This is what I was thinking about. In order to support placeholders, we can have something like this. This is a command definition within the YAML file, and I was playing with the idea to having something like this, percent symbol, and then a name of the placeholder, and then just the same closing character, something like this. And in order to do something like to add placeholders that you can call or you can pass values while running the command in inline mode, you can do something like this. Those three has, each one has a different name, and in order to use those, you can use the placeholders option, something like dash placeholder option, like in here, and then pass all those key values like this, passing the key and then colon and then the value. So that's my proposal to do this. But then suddenly someone on the Gitter channel asking about, instead of passing all those values like this, why don't we support environment variable, environment placeholders? So instead of passing all those values, when calling the command as an inline, as like using the placeholder option, we can call the we get, I mean, the environment method, and we can do the goal or the idea is do something like this. I know this sounds, I mean, looks a lot like magic because this is a YAML file. So this will end up into a YAML file. So, and this is kind of a PHP function, and it's calling a, you know, a environment key defined. So you, in order to use something like this, you should, I mean, you should register those environment variables. You know, do something like export and the, you know, the environment variable name and then the value. Once you have something like this, you can just call the change command in the path to the YAML file, and this will take care of reading those and replace those by the value within this environment variable. That sounds kind of creepy, probably. And you know, during this, when we start this, I mean, this podcast, I mean, the guy who requests, one of the guys who requests this, is asking for probably do something like this, you know, add the same delimiters, you know, the per person sign to make it this doesn't look that, you know, that magic, and that makes sense. I mean, what is coming to my mind is instead of doing something like this, you just add a different delimiter, you know, having kind of use this for placeholders for those parameters passing in line, and use something different, you know, might be, I don't know, something like, instead of doing like, kind of try something like $, might be like this, the environment name. Might be something like this will work, or, you know, parentheses. I mean, I have no idea. We need to like still find out which is the best one. So we can do something like this. But at this point, you will be able to either passing values using the option, or reading those values from the system, from the environment. I mean variables on your system, which is probably, this is kind of more. You could probably think this is more secure. I mean, those, you won't be seeing those values. I mean, you don't have to pass those values while executing the command. Those both are stored in the system. And yeah, I mean, this is, I mean, we need to figure it out. I mean, this is the issue. Feel free to jump into it and add some comments if you are interested in this feature.
So I think the last thing we're gonna be talking about is gonna be the stickers or the badges. So let me share this. Let me see. How do you do the sharing? There you go. So you guys can see my screen, I think, right? There you go. So I took this idea from Drupal core. So in Drupal core, if they, in Drupal core, sorry, I'm sharing the wrong thing. So in Drupal core, when you contribute to Drupal core, if you go to a sprint, they will give you this different type of stickers. It's pretty much a reward for what you did in like you spent time to contribute back to Drupal. So they give you a sticker to acknowledge you what you have done. So I say, hey, let's do the same thing for Drupal console, and we ended up with 4 different categories: developer, translator, documenter, and tester. And we got some feedback from a designer that decided to help us for new badges or stickers. So here are the options, which is option 1, this option 2, this option 3, 4, 5, and 6. And since like 6 have more attraction against, like, based on the comments of most people. So yeah, they look pretty good, and most likely it's gonna be ready for DrupalCon New Orleans. So let's see. No, they look pretty good.
What's the goal? What's the goal of having those stickers?
I mean, the whole idea is, hey, you spend a few not hours, or I don't know how long you take. You spend some time contributing back to the community, to Drupal console. You need to set up your environment. I mean, this is a way to show some appreciation to the developer, like you earn something, you send a pull request, you help, or you test something. So that's the whole idea. So, like I said, there's 4 categories that we're gonna start. We're gonna start with developer, which is someone who created either a feature or an enhancement to a project. We got the translators because we have a lot of people who help translate the project, and they don't necessarily create any any type of coding. They just translate the project. So that's a batch for that. Documenter, someone who documents the project, and a tester, somebody who actually tests pull requests and yeah, help the pull requests and give feedback. So
yeah,
pretty much
hopefully,
it's a way to reward users. That's all it is. But anyway.
and hopefully we'll have those for New Orleans, and make sure you ping us during the event and join us during the spring, so I know that you can get yours.
Yeah, yeah, and I think there's somebody who's gonna be. I'm not sure, but he asked if he might be going to Dev Dev Days. So I don't know. We might talk to him, see if he can take them there too. So people who contribute in Dev Dates, he can give it away. I don't know.
Yeah, makes
So
sense. I
yeah,
mean, we can probably pack some, get some pack. I mean, get some of those in and send it to the Dev Days event. I'm pretty sure someone in New Orleans will be attending the Dev Days. Not me, unfortunately, but I'm
unless
pretty
they
sure.
pay for it, right? Well, I think we're all set. Unless you guys have anything else.
No, just can you please remind us, Enzo, where you will be? Where's the Drupal camp you will attending this weekend?
Yes, tomorrow I will be in Drupal Camp Chongqing, the first one, and tomorrow, not in Sunday, I will participate in a Drupal meetup in Chengdu. It is another city close to Chongqing. It's the Panda City. It's another 20 each million inhabitants. And next Thursday, I will be in Bangkok, Thailand, participating in a local Drupal meetup. So this weekend and next week will be really busy.
That's pretty
So
cool.
good.
Sounds like fun.
Yep.
Well, I don't think if you have anything else to do, thank you for watching this and see you hopefully next week.
And hopefully with the 1.0.0.0 offer release. So this is the final one, right? The final non,
Well,
the final minor one.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure you will release like 2 or 3 before the actual release. No, no. Let's see what happens.
Let's see you
Let's see
guys.
what
Thank
happens.
you.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Bye.
Bye.